Monday morning to you listeners out there. And of course, the program you're on to is In the Papers, coming to you from the stables of iPower 102.7 FM. We always run it on the program this morning. We've got newspapers from around the world. I've got the Daily Post newspaper, the Daily Trust newspaper, the Guardian newspaper. We've got
headlines from the Hope newspaper this morning. We have headlines from the Nation's newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, the Punch newspaper, and the Daily Post newspaper this Monday morning.
And I am Inioluwa Adekoya, and I also have with me in the studios.
My name is Florence Ibarima.
Yes, right about now we will take a short break. When I get back, we'll give you headlines making rounds in the papers this morning.
Yes, so glad to have you back now. So still in the papers, your daily drive for news making major headlines in today's newspaper. Beginning from the Punch newspaper this morning, where we have Ayedatiwa urges Nigerians to celebrate loved ones while still alive.
And now quickly to the Daily Post newspaper. Tinubu uses road project to fight insecurities as Omahi.
Yes, still taking headlines, and now to the Hope newspaper, where we have Ayedatiwa hails Olowo at 60, praises monarch's leadership.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, talking IMF, Nigerian government lacks transparent public expenditure system, says Sam Amadi.
Still taking headlines from the Hope newspaper, where we have AAUA Don seek law clinic green court to fight environmental injustice.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, talking Oyo, Borno abduction. School children spend 54 days in forest amid heavy downpour.
Yes, away from the Hope newspaper, and now to the Sun, where we have again federal government under fire over PFIPC scandal.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, INEC extends CVR exercise to 26th of July, introducing online registration.
Still on the Sun newspaper this Monday morning, where we have Uzodima Lots, Tinubu NASS over state police bill.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, federal government distributes 10 billion naira healthcare equipment to Bauchi.
Yes, still taking headlines from the Sun newspaper this morning, where we have APC primary fallout. Governors aggrieved aspirant trade blames.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, Nigerian British grandma arrested with 13 kg cocaine concealed inside plantain peels.
Yes, still taking headlines, and now to the Hope newspaper, where we have SLO, the local government chair, gives 151 indigents monthly stipend.
Governor Yusuf appoints Umar Maggi as special advisor on assembly matters, and that was from the Daily Post newspaper.
And lastly, from the Nation's newspaper from my end, where we have PBAT Southeast Coordinator rallies members.
And to the Guardian newspaper on my end, police nab 2 over armed robbery, recover vehicle, motorcycles in Ogun State.
We would go on a short break. When we come back, we start with the major headlines from today's stories. Yes, so glad to have you back. And of course, the program is still in the papers, your daily nugget for news making major headlines in today's newspaper. Beginning from the Punch newspaper, where we have this headline: I get that you urges Nigerians to celebrate loved ones while alive. Now, the details. Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has urged Nigerians to celebrate their loved ones while they are still alive, saying doing so allows them to witness the appreciation and affection of family, friends, and associates. Ayedatiwa made the call on Saturday at the 80th birthday Thanksgiving service of Special Apostle Titus Ogunsheye held in Ikeja, Lagos. The governor who chaired the event said many people organize elaborate tributes only when their loved ones have died, depriving them of the opportunity to experience the love shown in their honor, describing the celebrants' attainment of 80 years as a special blessing. Aidatiwa thanked God for preserving Ogunshaya's life in good health and strength. The governor said that he initially questioned whether he was the right person to chair the event because at 61 he regarded the octogenarian as old enough to be his father. He disclosed that he had traveled from Lagos earlier in the day to attend the burial of the father of one of his aides before returning for the birthday celebration, describing both engagements as important. Reflecting on the significance of the occasion, Aidatiwa said reaching the age of 80 was a reminder of the biblical induction to number one's days and acknowledge God's faithfulness. According to him, the wisdom that comes with age remains the true glory of the elderly. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with this headline: Ayedatiwa urges Nigerians to celebrate loved ones while alive.
Still on now to the Guardian newspaper, robbers kill father of five in Ondo. And now to the details. Tension gripped Shagari axis of Akura South local government area, Ondo State, following the gruesome killing of the renewed refrigeration and air conditioning technician Idris Abiodun Clement, who was murdered by armed robbers during a violent attack on his residence in the early hours of yesterday. The 47-year-old father of five was fatally injured after confronting the robbers who had invaded his compound around 1 a.m. The armed robbers, who were said to be three in number, had attacked two other houses in the area before forcefully gaining entry into Clement's family compound, with the deceased technician confronting one of the assailants, unaware that the gang was heavily armed. While speaking on the incident, one of the deceased son, Abdul Fattah Clement, described the attack as devastating. He further stated, and I quote, "The armed robbers came into our street around 1 a.m. and started robbing residents. They had robbed about two other houses before they came into our house with full force. My father did not want to leave anything to chance, so he confronted one of the robbers to defend the family. Not knowing there were about 3 or 4 of them that were heavily armed. They attacked him with axes and cutlasses before one of them brought out a gun and shot him. The robbers fled immediately after he collapsed. We had rushed him to the hospital, but he had lost so much blood. The doctors later confirmed him dead." A close friend of the deceased, who identified himself simply as Akim, described the incident as painful and senseless killings. He said Idris was widely known for his generosity and willingness to support people in legitimate businesses. The widow of the deceased, Tibet Clement, appealed to the state government and security agencies not to allow those responsible for the killing of her husband to escape justice. Confirming the incident, the Ondo State Police Command said one suspect had been arrested in connection with the robbery and murder. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Guardian newspaper with the headline, "Robbers kill father of 5 in Ondo."
Yes, so taking headlines from the Hope newspaper this morning, where we have Ese Odo, local government chair, gives 151 indigents monthly stipend. Now the details. as part of its commitment to improving the welfare of residents. No fewer than 151 indigents of the SAO, the local government area of Ondo State, have benefited from the monthly stipend initiative introduced by the present administration of the council. The beneficiary, who are members of the All Progressive Congress APC, were selected from various towns, settlements, and communities across 10 political wards in the local government. Each beneficiary received 15,000 naira. Speaking while distributing the cash, the chairman of SAO, the local government, Chief Musso, said the gesture was funded from the monthly salary and allowance as part of his administration's effort to cushion the effects of the prevailing economic hardship in the country. He explained that the initiative also reflected his administration's commitment to people-oriented governance aimed at supporting residents of the council, particularly members of the party. Congratulating the beneficiaries, the council chairman said the gesture formed part of his monthly humanitarian support scheme, which he initiated in October 2025 to ease the economic burden on residents of the local government. He pledged to sustain the program until the end of his tenure and urged the beneficiaries to utilize the money judiciously while continuing to support the Ondo State government under the leadership of Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa. The chairman also thanked residents of the local government for their prayers and support for his administrations and that of Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, saying such had enabled the APC-led government to record significant achievement. He further appealed to indigents of the local government, both home and in diaspora, as well as other public-spirited individuals to complement the government efforts aimed at improving the welfare of people at the grassroots. If that story aligns with your interests, it is on the pages of the Hope newspaper this morning with this headline: SAO, the local government chair, gives 151 indigents monthly stipend.
Still on the Guardian newspaper, Nigerian British grandma arrested with 13 kg cocaine concealed in plantain peels. And now to the details. A 67-year-old Nigerian British grandmother, Mrs. Mary Yetunde Barrick, has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency after 13 kilograms of cocaine concealed in fake plantain peels were discovered in a luggage at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Ikeja, Lagos. The suspect, who works as a caregiver in the United Kingdom, was arrested at the departure hall of Terminal 2 while attempting to board a Virgin Atlantic flight to London on the 28th of June 2026. A thorough search of our luggage led to the discovery of 31 large wraps of cocaine, carefully packaged to resemble bunches of plantain and weighing a total of 13 kilograms in our statement. The elderly woman admitted ownership of the seized cocaine. Meanwhile, a sting operation in a Kwisigo local government area of Anambra State led to the arrest of a 45-year-old PhD student at the University of Potra, Malaysia, Nwabueze Felix Onyeka, over the seizure of 5.80 kilograms of cocaine concealed in the wall of 9 cartons of origin bitters. The consignment was part of a consolidated cargo designated for Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Nwabueze arrest followed the interception of 36 parcels of cocaine weighing 5.80 kilograms hidden inside herbal drink cartons. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Guardian newspaper with the headline: Nigerian British grandma arrested with 13 kg cocaine concealed in plantain peels.
Still taking headlines from the Hub newspaper, where we have mixed reactions. Trail NYSC reforms, and now the details. Nigerians have continued to express divergent view on the federal government's extension of the National Youth Service Corps orientation course and other reforms approved for the scheme. The government has extended the orientation course from from 3 weeks to 6 weeks. The reforms are aimed at strengthening skill acquisition, improving career development, and repositioning the scheme to better meet national development needs. In an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria in Lagos on Sunday, some correspondents said the extension would improve employability, while others described it as ill-timed and unnecessary. A serving corps member, Ms. Victoria Oyerinde, said a 6-week orientation course would provide additional time for training, skill acquisition, and bonding among corps members if properly structured. She, however, said the longer duration could impose an additional financial burden on participants unless camp conditions are improved, postings are made transparent, and National Youth Service Corps Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Program is adequately funded. Another undergraduate, Ms. Melody Ado, said the reforms reflected good intention and urged effective implementation offshore corps members are adequately equipped for national service and their future career. She suggested integrating skill acquisition throughout the 1-year national service and placing greater emphasis on digital skill to improve graduate employability. She, however, a teacher, Miss Kemi Shola Odejide, described the extension as ill-timed, saying the federal government had yet to adequately address challenges relating to corps members' feeding, accommodation, healthcare, and general welfare under existing 3 weeks program. She, however, welcomed the introduction of specialized career stream, saying posting corps members to organization related to their field of study periods. She also said the government should not consider changing corps members' uniform from traditional khaki to adire, urging that the khaki reflect the scheme's national outlook. For details of that news, reform.
Still on the Punch newspaper, Oyebanji assures full care for Ekiti kidnapped survivors. And now to the details. Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji visited victims at the Edauniyo kidnap incident at the Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital at Do-Ekiti, where they were receiving medical attention following their release from captivity after about 66 days. The victim, comprising women and children who regained freedom in the early hours of Saturday, were abducted during a program at the Christ Apostolic Church in Edauniyo on the 28th of April. During the attack on the church, a pastor was killed while 16 persons were taken into the bush by abductors. One of the victims died in captivity while remaining 15 regained freedom. Recently, the governor who visited the victims at the emergency and children's ward expressed relief over the release and said they were stable and responding to treatment. The governor further stated, and I quote, "I am happy they are back. I am happy that the little child who was unconscious yesterday is now conscious. All of them are stable and they are responding to medical treatment well. I commend the staff of Exuth for a job well done. Since recently, we have brought them here to take care of them and ensure that they are medically sound. They have instructed that the state will bear the cost of treatment and everything that happens between now and when they leave here. I will also ask psychologists to talk to them. With a few for the release, also appreciated President Bola Tinubu for his support while commending security agencies and local hunters for their efforts. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Oyebanji assures full care for Ekiti kidnapped survivors.
Still taking headlines from the Hope newspaper, where we have Ayedatiwa hails Olowo at 60, praises monarch's leadership. Now the detail. The Ondo State Governor, Honorable Lucky Ayedatiwa, has paid glowing tribute to the Olowo of Owo, Oba Ajibade Gbadegashin Ogunwoye III, on the occasion of the monarch's 60th birthday. He described him as a wise, selfless, and exemplary national ruler whose leadership has contributed significantly to the peace and development of the state. Speaking at the Thanksgiving service held at the Methodist Cathedral of Faith Okyogun in our local government area of the state on Sunday to mark the monarch's 60th birthday, the governor said the celebration was an opportunity to thank God for sustaining the Olowo through 6 decades of a purposeful life and 6 successful years on the throne of his forefathers. The governor, who was represented by his deputy, Dr. Olayide Adelami, praised the monarch's reign, describing it as one characterized by wisdom, peace, and dedicated service to the people of our kingdom. He also commended the Olowo, who served as chairman of Ondo State Council of Traditional Rulers, for providing outstanding leadership among the state traditional rulers and strengthening the relationship between traditional institutes and the government. According to the governor, the monarch has consistently offered valuable advice and unwavering support to his administration, noting that his commitment to the peace, progress, that he will further acknowledge the Olowo's role in mobilizing traditional rulers in the local governments in support of his administrations during the 2024 governorship election, describing the monarch's leadership and confidence in his government as instrumental to the electoral victory. For details of that news, see Olowo at 60 praises monarch's leadership.
And now back to the Daily Post newspaper talking ICC exit. Amnesty International decries warning rights in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And now to the details. Amnesty International is alarmed by the withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger from the Rome Statute of International Criminal Court (ICC). The global movement believes decisions of the nations led by military government consecrates impunity and threatens to deny victims of war crimes justice and reparation. Amnesty International said for over a decade it has documented crimes under international law committed against civilians during conflict in the countries, many of which could fall within the ICC's jurisdiction. The statement reads, and I quote, "Withdrawing from the ICC amounts to a headlong retreat by this government from their international laws and justice obligation." Sevedo record the repeated calls on Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger to strengthen their judicial system so that they can investigate, prosecute, and conduct fair trials for human rights and humanitarian law violation. Amnesty International wants that the government headlong retreat from their international law and justice obligation will further imperil civilians' lives and further enshrine impunity for crime under international law. The ICCC presidency, in its reaction, said the actions of the leadership of the West African state risk on the community. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, ICCC exit, Amnesty International decries warning rights in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger.
Yes, so still taking headlines, and now to the Punch, where we have Okonjo-Iweala hits African team's impressive World Cup campaign. Now the details. The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has praised the performance of African teams at the ongoing 2026 FIFA World Cup, commending their resilience and expressing hope for further success in the tournament. In a post on a verified X account on Sunday, Okonjo-Iweala singled out Morocco and Egypt for advancing to the next stage, while describing Cape Verde as the tournament stands out African side. She also applauded the effort of the DR Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ghana, despite their exit, saying they fought bravely throughout the competition. For details of that news, see the Punch newspaper with this World Cup campaign.
Yes, So now quickly to the Guardian newspaper talking xenophobia. Air Peace evacuate 801 Nigerians in 3 humanitarian missions. And now to the details. Air Peace have evacuated a total of 801 Nigerians from South Africa in 3 humanitarian missions organized in partnership with the federal government. The evacuation was necessitated following the recent xenophobic attacks and anti-immigration tensions in the country. A statement released recently by the spokesman of Air Peace, Efe Oshifo Whiskey, said that the airline completed its 3rd evacuation mission recently. The latest operation followed the evacuation of 262 Nigerians, bringing the total number of Nigerians safely returned home to 801. According to him, the achievement showed its commitment to supporting national humanitarian efforts and providing timely assistance to Nigerians caught in crisis situation abroad. He added that deployment of its long-haul B-777 aircraft for the evacuation further indicated its operational capacity and readiness to support the federal government in safeguarding the welfare of Nigerian citizens. The carrier noted that beyond its commercial operations, it was committed to reconnecting Nigerians with their families and providing hope during periods of uncertainty. It further added that the last mission also showed that strong partnership between airlines and the federal government in delivering humanitarian interventions and ensuring safe, voluntary return of Nigerians affected by the recent xenophobic tensions in South Africa. Air Peace also said it had continued to build a reputation as Nigeria's leading humanitarian airline, having undertaken more than 16 humanitarian and evacuation missions across Africa and other parts of the world since it commenced operations. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Guardian newspaper with the headline, Xenophobia, Air Peace evacuate 801 Nigerians in 3 humanitarian missions.
Still taking headlines from the Punch newspaper, where I staged my kidnap to extort 25 million from family. And that is coming from a Delta man. Now the details. A Delta State-based man, Michael James, has narrated why he allegedly staged a self-kidnapping scheme to extort 25 million from his family. James, in an interrogation video shared by the Delta State Police Public Relations Officer Bright Edafi on Sunday, said he resorted to the act because he owed his brother and sister money, which he already spent and had no means of repaying. He explained that on July 1, he was asked to dispose of refuse, but instead of returning home, he abandoned his wheelbarrow and hid in a nearby bush. I further said, and I quote, "My name is Michael James. I am from Edo State, but I live in Delta State. I kidnapped myself. The reason I kidnapped myself was that I owed my sister and my brother, and I already spent the money. I have no way of paying it back. On the 1st of the month, they asked me to go and throw away the trash. After throwing away the trash, I packed my wheelbarrow and entered the bush. After some time, my mom started calling me, but I did not answer. Later, I called my mom and told her that I have been kidnapped and that the kidnappers were demanding 25 million. And then I ended the call." The suspect added that he later called his mom again, claiming that his abductors were beating him and he had transferred 700,000 to them, 700,000 naira to them. He said that after learning from his mother that the police and local vigilantes had launched effort to rescue him, he became worried. According to him, when it was about to rain later that day, he left the bush on a motorcycle to another location before calling his family to claim that he had escaped from the captors. They kept calling me, but I did not answer. Later, when I picked the call, I told her that the kidnappers were flogging me and that she should transfer 700,000 naira to them. For details of that news, reacting to the Reacting, the police public relations officer of Delta State Command, Bright Edafi, in a message accompanied by the video, said the command's swift response to the reported kidnapping by deploying digital intelligence to trace the suspect location. This is not the first time individuals had taken advantage of the rampant kidnapping incident to stage a self-kidnapping scheme to extort money. For details of that news, see the Punch newspaper with this headline: I staged my kidnap to extort 25 million naira from family, says a Delta State man.
Still on the Guardian newspaper, INEC extends voters' registration by 2 weeks. Voters' registration CVR exercised by 2 weeks, giving eligible candidates onto eligible citizens until the 24th of July to register ahead of future elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, announced the extension recently, saying the decision followed feedbacks and other stakeholders. The nationwide registration exercise, which began on the 18th of August 2025, has been scheduled to end on the 10th of July 2026. In a statement, INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voters Education Committee, Muhammad Aruna, were captured in the National Voters Registration. The Commission also announced the introduction of online self-service registration platform for first-time voters as part of efforts to improve access to the registration process. According to INEC, the new service will become available on the 8th of July through its dedicated CVR portal, allowing eligible citizens to initiate and complete their voters' registration, including biometric capture, using their personal devices without first visiting the INEC office. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Guardian newspaper with the headline, INEC extends voters' registration by 2 weeks.
Yes, still taking headlines from the Punch newspaper, where we have a talk on state police. Federal force can intervene over electoral intimidation, and that's coming from the Senate. Now the details. The Senate on Sunday said proposed state police bill contains constitutional safeguard that would allow the federal police to intervene in cases of electoral intimidation, serious human rights violation, and threat to national security, dismissing concerns that governors could abuse the proposed policing system for political purposes. The upper chamber also defended the passage of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or treated State Police Bill 2026, revealing that 84 out of 109 senators voted in support of the legislation during its clause-by-clause consideration, describing the outcome as evidence of broad backing. The clarification comes amid growing debate over the proposed decentralization of policing, with supporters arguing that the state police will strengthen security at the grassroots, while critics fear governors would extort the outfit to intimidate political opponents ahead of elections. Defending the Senate's position in a statement issued by his media office on Sunday, the Senate leader Okpeyemi Bamidele said the proposed amendment clearly designates the constitutional responsibility of the federal and state police to minimize operational conflict and improve security coordination. He explained that the federal police would continue to handle the protection of federal institutions, policing of the Federal Capital Territory, counter-terrorism, organized crime, cybercrime, border security, armed trafficking, interstate criminal activities, and other national security matters, while state police would be responsible for enforcing state laws, maintaining public order, and protecting lives and properties within the jurisdiction. Bamidele said the bill equally contains several safeguards designed to prevent governors from abusing the state police. He explained that although governors may nominate a commissioner of police, such appointment would require recommendation by the National Police Council, and approval by two-thirds majority of the relevant state House of Assembly. The Senate leader added that the National Police Council would oversee overall policy, funding, and appointments, while an independent State Police Service Commission would regulate state police operations without the control of state governors. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the pages of the Punch newspaper with this headline: Federal force can intervene over electoral intimidation, and that is coming from the Senate.
Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, leaked audio on El-Rufai stirs controversy in Kaduna. And now to the details. A leaked audio recording alleging featuring the governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress ADC in Kaduna State, Alhaji Issa Ashiru, has triggered controversy within the party, with loyalists dismissing the recording as fabricated and supporters of the former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai reaffirming their allegiance to him. Newsman reports that despite the controversy, Aisha El-Rufai, wife of Nasir El-Rufai, has declared a support for the ADC candidate. In a post on our verified Facebook page, she said, "No retreat, no surrender. Kicking and struggling do not prevent death. Audio letters, video, whatever they are, even if Issa Ashiru will do with not only Madam El-Rufai but the whole family. I said it is only one time. There will be no reverse, God willing." The audio, which has been widely circulated on social media, is said to contain a phone conversation between Ashiru and an elder from southern Kaduna. In the recording, the speaker allegedly criticizes El-Rufai, a national leader of the ADC. However, the authenticity of the recording has not been independently verified, and it remains unclear whether the voice in the audio actually belongs to Ashiru or whether he made comments attributed to him. In a recording, the speaker allegedly claimed that joining the ADC was primarily a political strategy aimed at securing the party's governorship ticket. "We only went to ADC to obtain the party ticket so that we could move forward. The PDP is already divided into two factions, with Wike is leading one faction while Tanimu Turaki is leading the other. The both sides are in court," the voice in the recording said. The speaker further claimed that his association with El-Rufai was born out of political necessity rather than personal conviction. The speaker also alleged that El-Rufai had become politically isolated within the party, describing its current situation as consequences of past action. Reacting to the development, a prominent ADC figure in Kaduna North, an ally of Ashiru who requested anonymity because he was not authorized to speak on the matter, dismissed the recording as fake. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Trust newspaper with the headline, "Leaked audio on El-Rufai stirs controversy in Kaduna."
Yes, away from the Punch and now to the Sun newspaper this morning, where we have Lagos government warns against politicizing flooding. Now the details. The Lagos state government has cautioned individuals and social media users against politicizing the issue of flooding in the state, saying some people are circulating misleading versions from the other states and countries to advance a destructive narrative. The Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, issued the warning in a Sunday post on X. Wahab said the government had watched with concern as false and old flood images were being shared online. The commissioner stated that the state government continuously monitor development and respond to reports and complaints received across various media platforms. However, he expressed concerns that some bloggers and social media influencers deliberately disseminate false or misleading information solely to generate clicks and engagement with little regard for the genuine concern of residents and property owners whose cases deserve urgent attention and intervention. Wahab appealed to stakeholders to treat issues affecting residents as residents with seriousness, responsibility, and sensitivity they deserve, adding that accurate information is essential to address challenges and developing lasting solutions, while acknowledging the constitutional rights of freedom of expression and the role of political engagement in a democracy. The commissioner said every right comes with responsibility. For, for details of that news, see the Sun newspaper with this headline: Lagos government warns against politicizing flooding.
And now to the Punch newspaper. Federal government names new board for Bank of Agriculture. And now to the details. The federal government has inaugurated a new board of directors for the Bank of Agriculture, charging members to work harmoniously and diligently with utmost fidelity to the nation in advancing the bank's mandate. This was contained in a statement issued by the Communications Personnel's Office of Managing Director of the bank, Abimbola Utekola Ishaku, and made available to newsmen. According to the statement, the constitution of the 10-man board is aimed at reinforcing corporate governance and setting the stage for renewed strategic leadership at the federal government-owned financial institution. The statement said the inauguration was conducted by the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, at Ministry headquarters in Abuja. It further added that new board is expected to strengthen the bank's role in driving agricultural development, food security and financial inclusion, and sustainable economic growth. Speaking at the inauguration, the minister urged the board's members to provide leadership and would support projects capable of creating jobs, reducing poverty, and improving the socio-economic well-being of Nigerian families. In his remarks, the chairman of the board, Mohammed Babangida, reaffirmed the board's commitment to working closely with the management to reposition the bank as the leading development finance institution, supporting the federal government priorities on food security, job creation, and inclusive economic growth. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Federal Government Names New Board for Bank of Agriculture.
You're still listening to us from iPower One Target for news making major headlines in today's newspaper. You're still taking headlines from the Sun newspaper this morning, where we have 2026 Guba election. Don't sell your PVC, Oyebamiji declares. Now the details. The flag bearer of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Oyebamiji, on Sunday urged citizens of the state to be wary of selling their voting power and vote to desperate politicians at next month's elections. Oyebamiji, speaking at the special meeting and prayer held in his honor by the Asaruddin Society of Nigeria, said such acts of compromises are harmful to the collective good and progress of the state. Oyebamiji, who appealed to electorate to exercise their civil duties and stand by their choice, said, "My ambition is clear and I am prepared to take the full bull by the horns in transforming our common heritage, our dear state. We will run in all-inclusive, preparatory and masses-oriented government. We will prioritize all sectors of the economy. I would assure everyone here that we will prioritize most sincerely security and welfare of the people, particularly the welfare of general well-being of all, especially the civil servant." Oyebamiji also tasked the religious leaders on constant prayers for peaceful electoral process in the forthcoming gubernatorial election in the state. Speaking on behalf of the leadership of the Osun State chapter of the Asaruddin Society of Nigeria, the state secretary, Asaruddin Society of Nigeria, Alhaji Akande Ola Aviz, described Oyebamiji as an achiever of high integrity, diligence, and foresight in previous leadership undertaking. The ADC secretary clarified that while the society is not known for partisanship, it was necessary to laud Oyebamiji's track record and developmental desires for Osun State. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the pages of the Sun newspaper with this headline: Don't sell your PVCs, Oyebamiji declares.
Still on the Punch newspaper, Saraki pledges support for Inioluwa's first-class scholar Italy trip. And now to the details. Former Senate President Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki has pledged to cover the remaining relocation cost for the first-class mathematics graduate of the University of Ilorin Adisa Blessing Oluwafikayo, who secured a fully funded master's scholarship at the University of Calabria, Italy. Saraki made the promise recently via his verified ex-handle after coming across the young scholar's appeal for assistance to enable her to travel. Oluwafikayo had posted, "Help me make my scholarship dream come true. I am Adisa Blessing Oluwafikayo, a first-class mathematics graduate with a CGPA of 4.76 out of 5.0 from Uni-Ilorin. I am happy to have been awarded a fully funded master's scholarship in mathematics at the University of Calabria, Italy." Saraki responded, "Dear Blessing, I just came across your tweet and it truly inspired me to graduate with a first class in mathematics from Uni-Ilorin and then earn a fully funded master's admission in Italy is an extraordinary achievement. You have demonstrated excellence and the promise that exists in many young Nigerians." He added, "No young person who has worked this hard should have such an opportunity limited by the cost of getting there. It will be my privilege to support your journey by covering what is left in the cost of your relocation. I, from my office, will reach out to you. Congratulations again. Go excel and continue to make Nigeria proud." If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, "Saraki pledges support for Uni-Ilorin first-class scholar Italy trip."
Yes,